Big ass phone playing with me, bro. All right, Shalom, everybody. Before we get started, we're going to face the east. Give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. In Hebrew, that's giving our praises to the Most High, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, and the Holy Spirit, who taught us His truth. Honors to the brethren that's laboring doing the work to push the gospel, risking their life and freedom to do so. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, which will be 1/3 of the nation of Israel, according to scripture, who will be the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, according to their fathers, and those who make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel, who will be returning back to the Most High by hearing and believing on these words during these final moments, so that He will have mercy on us in judgment. So we back with another lesson to the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. And I got a handful of articles and with some scriptures to go along with it. And pretty much I titled the lesson, "This Sword and Destruction, Draweth Nigh." Why? Because this is the place where the evil is sown, but the destruction is not yet come. So the evil was sown here. This the mother of harlots. So now this place is we're not gonna say eligible. Now the place is ready for destruction, because that's what makes you eligible for destruction as a civilization. Once you have sown evil in the world, no different than the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. No different than the time before the flood during the time of Noah. America surpassed all that evil, so now it's ready for that destruction. And then we got a handful of articles from Europe to America. They deploying, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of police officers for tonight, for New Year's Eve, because they're getting all kind of threats of attacks and everything else. But that's why the lesson is titled, the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. But I'm gonna get some of this article real quick. Let me go here. Should have had it pulled up already. Okay, so this is the article is titled "Terms Husband and Wife Branded Offensive by Methodist Church." Whether it's the Methodist or the Baptist, whatever denomination, all churches come through the Roman Catholic Church, and that's all part of that false prophet in the book of Revelation. Well, here the church is declaring that the term husband and wife is offensive. And let me get to that. Let me get some of this article. The Methodist Church has claimed that ministers should avoid using terms husband and wife because it conveys an assumption that is not the reality for many people. And the Lord created us man and woman to be joined together. But they saying here that's not the case for many people. Why? Because you got the LGBTQT activity. You got sodomite and Gomorrah activity going on. The denomination made the statement in its inclusive language guide, which will be updated every 6 months, to advise congregations how to repent of any hurtful language when addressing groups which have been marginalized and or demonized by common culture. So yeah, calling somebody a man who wishes to identify as a woman, or they a trainee who looks like a man, so you call them that, that could be hurtful or offensive to them. So they want to update their terms of policy and their terminology on how you address people. And same with a woman. She might be a woman who wishes to identify as a man, and it might be hurtful to him. The guidance argued that relationships come in many varied expressions, and using the terms parent, partner, and child are a good place to start. Yeah, because parent, partner, and child, those are gender neutral terms. A parent could be male or woman. A partner could be male or woman. So they don't want to use the terms husband and wife. They just want to use the term, partner and partner. Why? Because it might not be a husband and wife. It might be husband on husband activity or wife on wife activity. But whatever the case is, um, they want to update their terms and put it in the legislation to give pretty much LGBTQ rights to those kind of people. And so this is the place where the evil was sown, that the destruction got to come. No different than the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. So, and that's what dangerous about these times we're living in. Seeing how evil and dark and wicked this generation, this civilization is. As people really follow history and follow the patterns and the trends of the rise and fall of kingdoms, they will know anytime there's um, wickedness is sown, and they know them kingdoms and empires are always destroyed. And that's no different than America, which is the wickedest of all the kingdoms before it. All right, so now I'm going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, verse 5. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. Yeah, the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Under what inhabitants? Well, the scriptures speak about being a new heaven and a new earth. Well, that heaven, there's different kinds of heavens, but this heavens, we'll be talking about the rulership that's taking place on the earth. So the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Well, the people. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm making it.
Seen you out here reading and preaching. I was wondering if you'd like to take a lunch.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm on a fast for today.
Oh, okay. All right.
I appreciate it, though.
Respect that. Water? I got water.
Oh, I got it. I'm all prepared.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right.
All right,
Bless
take it
you.
now. So the earth is defiled under the current rulership that's governing the earth. And we know Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And the wicked, according to Malachi 1:4, would be the house of Esau, the Edomites, or the so-called white people. So the earth, the inhabitants, the way the people speak, what they talk about, what they think about, how they live in, is defiled under this current rulership. Because this current rulership, they have transgressed the laws. All the laws that the Most High gave us in the scriptures. Esau, the white man, has put his own laws and legislation out that's pretty much contrary to the laws of the Bible, such as LGBTQ rights and many more. It says, change the ordinance. And when we go to the word ordinance in the blue letter Bible, hold on. Ordinance, the words that come up would be a prescribed task, a prescribed portion, limits, specific decree. So a prescribed tax or a prescribed portion, in the family structure, a man, a husband, he got his prescribed task. A woman, a wife, she got her prescribed task. Well, America is doing this role reversal. Each gender can take on the roles of the other gender. That's why you got women saying, women can do anything a man can do. And you got men stepping down to being masculine. So pretty much they transgress the laws, change the ordinances, meaning the things that the Most High put in the earth, they just jacking it all up. Such as gender roles and many more. Even the dynamic of a parent and a child. That's why Isaiah 3:12 says, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. That's the ordinance being changed. The women is not supposed to run the show. Neither are the children. That goes into Esau, the king who was a child, ruling over us. But you literally got children ruling over their parents. Parents don't whoop their children. Parents just pretty much do anything to shut the child up, get a child anything they want. So you got children ruling over their parents. And then, Mark, Matthew, Luke, they tell you that the children gonna rise up and cause their parents to be put to death. So that's the ordinance being changed. And it says broken the everlasting covenant. That everlasting covenant was dealt with Jacob, and You know, Esau tried to break that everlasting covenant, you know, tried to completely disconnect us from the Most High, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. So yeah, the earth is heavily defiled under the rulership of Esau, Edom, a so-called white man. And then when we come to Daniel 7:25, it reads, he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. They should begin into his hand until the time and times and dividing the time. So yeah, these devils, they didn't change the times, the calendars, the laws, you know, all because when you read the story of creation in Genesis, it says the Most High created this and that, and it was good, you know, meaning it was perfect. The things that the Lord created and put in place, it was good after he created it. Ain't need to be tampered with, ain't need to be altered. Or Esau is coming and altering everything. All right, so now we're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. I'm going to pull out the sword. And why are we talking about everything Esau the effed up? Well, this is the place where the evil is sown. Now the sword is already on the loose, especially in these other countries, but the destruction is coming soon after. But you're going to grab that in a minute. Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Yeah, so pretty much Esau the white man came and turned everything upside down. You know, when it says woe to them that call evil good, what's evil? LGBTQT activity. Well, they're calling it good by giving them rights. They got more rights than regular people. You know, they got hotlines, you know, protective custody, you know, all kind of stuff. And then people who wish to be straight, as the Most High created them, you know, they demonize you just for wanting to be straight or heterosexual. You know, that's why they got the term toxic masculinity. You could be anything but a man in this society. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil. You know, people look at you weird if you order some food and you tell them to take off the bacon. They look at you like you're a criminal, but really you trying to be righteous. And that's just really on all levels. Anything you try to do, that's according to scripture, the society demonizes it, meaning they look down on it. That both to them that put darkness for light, meaning the misinformation, the disinformation, that's common knowledge to the people. For example, the Messiah, his name being Jesus Christ, him being a white man, that's darkness for light. That's lies, deceit, deception, all of that, and light for darkness. So this truth that we the Lord shows the people, the Lord only coming back for a remnant of his people. He's a so-called black man. All nations are nothing before him. That's considered darkness, although that's the true light. That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. What's bitter? This life here in America, but they portray it as sweet. So you got terms like the American dream. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. You know, that begins with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, out of their pride. You know, they wise in their own sight. They can actually rationalize and reason with themselves on how to put LGBTQ activity into laws and legislation. They can actually rationalize, call it a man and woman, and letting the woman identify as a man. That's why you got these gender neutral terms. That's why we brought out the article that the Methodist Church is labeling a husband and wife as offensive, because that's not the reality for many people. Because the reality for many people, you know, it's man on man, woman on woman, or somebody may wish to identify as a trans, a pansexual, and all these other words that, you know, I don't just know off the top of my head. But all that to show that, you know, this destruction is drawing nigh. So we're going to also jump to the book of 2 Peter. Excuse me. I want this phone playing with me. We're going to go to the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2. verses 6 through 8. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes. And we know what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah, the same thing that's going on here in America. What was the result of the LGBTQT funny activity? They got turned into dust. So let's read this again. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example, an example unto those that after shall live ungodly. Yeah, so Sodom and Gomorrah was left an example for future generations, who will live ungodly LGBTQT activity. So this is the place where the evil was sown, but the destruction is not yet come. So yeah, you reap what you sow. They sowing the same thing in Sodom and Gomorrah. They're gonna reap that same destruction. So down to verse 7, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. How y'all doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Oh, I'm making it. So pretty much going into Bible prophecy. Y'all believe in the Bible?
Ew, yeah.
Okay, so in ancient Egypt, well, I'll begin with this. The Lord has a chosen people, the Israelites. It's not the people that's in the land right now, but in ancient Egypt, they were in captivity or slavery, and the Lord destroyed Egypt to free his people. Well, the Lord's people are in captivity again, and what the Bible will call spiritual Egypt. That spiritual Egypt would be America, so the Lord is going to destroy America to free his people, just like he did in the ancient world. And that's why you got the pyramid on the back of the dollar, just a little symbolism showing that this is spiritual Egypt. And then this would be the lost 12 tribes of Israel right here. The African Americans, Native Americans, and Latin Americans. And then got some picture of the ancient Israelites to kind of go along with the talk. You find them in like Jerusalem, Rome, pretty much overseas. And pretty much how the Lord gonna finish off America. Christians, we can all agree that the world gonna be destroyed by fire. But Christians speak about a place called hell. That's made up. The fire is actually gonna come from nuclear destruction. How the Bible say the Lord rained fire on Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord is gonna rain fire on America. And that rain of fire is gonna come by nuclear missiles. So all these wars that's going on gonna intensify, and they all gonna shift their focus to America. Before that happens, the mark of the beast gonna come out. The mark of the beast is an RFID microchip that goes in the right hand. They're gonna crash the dollar. They're gonna have the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, and that's gonna be the new form of money. And that, you can only get that by having it implanted into your hand. And the mark of the beast will also be the Elon Musk Neuralink brain chip.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
I like how you're calling out all those fakers.
Yeah. So I got that because those people in a Jewish community, they're not the real Jews. They will actually be called the Edomites in the Bible. That's typically who white people go back to, Edomites. And it would be those people who run everything and pretty much effed up everything. And so yeah. I didn't stand for anything. It's just an ancient garment. Like when you look at the pictures of the ancient Israelites, they wore garments. And then Revelation tells you when the Lord comes back, he's gonna have a garment down to the foot. He's not gonna come back in jeans and a t-shirt, he's gonna come back in something similar. Yeah. So that's all that is. Yeah, all right, y'all take care, Doc. All right. All right, so we're gonna start back 2 Peter 2:6 through 8. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with the overthrow, making them an example unto those that after shall live ungodly, and delivered just Lot. Now they don't mean the Lord delivered just, meaning only Lot, but just, another word for that can go into upright or righteous. versus unjust or unrighteous. All right. And deliver just or righteous lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So even entertaining the idea of letting men identify as women and women identify as men, and actually rationalizing that and putting that in law, that's filthy conversation. And it's that same filthy conversation today that we vexed with, just like Lot was vexed or stressed with it back in the day. We hear that and it just give us a headache. It just ruins our day because it's folly. For the righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So yeah, we, Lord willing, come in the spirit of Lot. That what? That we are the righteous that are vexed with seeing and hearing the unlawful deeds of the people today. So yeah, Lord willing, we those same righteous people that are vexed with seeing and hearing the unlawful things of the people today. So this is a place where the evil is sown. Well, now this place is destined to be destroyed. So we're gonna go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, 5 and 6. We're gonna jump there. We're gonna kind of switch focus. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 15, we're gonna get 5. Behold, is that actually what I want? Okay, 2nd Ezra 15 and 5. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So yeah, that's why we titled the lesson, The Sword and Destruction Draweth Nigh. The Lord is going to bring plagues upon the world, sword and destruction. But also death and famine. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So yeah, the earth is exceedingly polluted with wickedness. And even on the physical level, this place is heavily polluted and defiled. All kind of chemicals, forever chemicals, chemtrails, pork and everything. The earth is, back to Isaiah 24 and 5, that inhabit the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Defiled with what? Yeah, you got physical pollution, but defiled with wickedness. Actually entertaining the fact of letting a man identify as a woman, woman identify as a man, and everything in between, and actually rationalizing it and legalizing it. And many more stuff besides that. So let's read that again. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the whole world, sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Yeah. And how did wickedness exceedingly pollute the whole earth? Under the inhabitants thereof. This current rulership, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So, Esau, Edom, he actually got the power and authority over the people to execute righteousness. But he chooses to execute wickedness in the earth. Sowing the evil. Hey, now this place is destined to be destroyed. So now we're gonna switch focus. Now we got, that the earth is exceedingly polluted. The earth is exceedingly polluted. Hey, now it's destined for the sword and destruction. So we're gonna shift our focus, to the sword being let loose on America. So now I got a little article we gonna read right here. This came out a few weeks ago, but we're gonna read this real quick. All right, North Korea recently made a chilling warning. They are watching the White House. So supposedly North Korea is watching the White House. This came out a few weeks ago. All right, North Korea has declared it's got the White House in its sights thanks to its new spy satellite. Let the weak say I am strong. North Koreans got the technology to watch this mug from the heavens, which the regime says is up and running, although the West has its doubts. Still, leader Kim Jong-un has been crowning over his new surveillance toy, and he's been happily sharing the alleged results. So we're not gonna read too much into it, but pretty much, supposedly North Korea, you know, they got a spy satellite watching over America. Why? Because the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. So now we're gonna jump to the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 1. Hey, because what North Korea is great at, hey, really, Xi Jinping, Putin, all these nations is really good at it. How y'all doing?
Very good, bro. How are you?
Ah, man, I'm making it. Would y'all be Mexican?
No, we from Nepal.
Okay, y'all most likely Israelites, the Lord's chosen people. Like I got the lost 12 tribes of Israel right here. That's most likely who y'all come back from. Y'all gotta turn back to the Lord. You know, not his name would be Yahweh Shai, and the Lord looked more like me and you. All right, bet. So as I was saying, what North Korea is doing is a term called psychological warfare. You know, you defeat your enemy mentally before you ever step to him. So, hey, rather North Korea got a spy satellite watching over America or not, hey, it makes America question itself. What if it's there? Why don't we see no evidence of it? Or where is it? You know, that's not far-fetched. Seeing how that so-called Chinese spy balloon came over here to America, it was in the air for a few days before they shot it down or whatever. So if China can send a spy balloon over here, North Korea can send a spy satellite over here. And what does that mean? That the sword is coming to America and the destruction of America is soon going to follow that. So this is Isaiah 33 and 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they deal not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. When thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So that's what the countries are doing. They're now dealing treacherously with America. And then after that, they're going to spoil you, America, when you read Ezekiel chapter 38. Now, I think I might want to read this in the NLT as well. So let me go there. Okay, I'm reading the NLT. Woe to you, destroyer, you who have not been destroyed. Woe to you, betrayer, you who have not been betrayed. When you stop destroying, you will be destroyed. When you stop betraying, you will be betrayed. That's the spirit because, you know, according to Revelation 17, hey, that the 10 whores are going to hate the whore, meaning betray her and devour her with fire. You know, eat her flesh, devour her with fire. Also lining up with Obadiah, maybe the 7th or 8th verse, that the man that's confederate with thee will pretty much turn against, you know, America. But we're going to look up some of these words in the BLB, Blue Letter Bible. So to spoil you, it means to deal violently. To spoil you, to devastate, to ruin, to destroy. So yeah, back to the precept. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled. So that goes into dealing violently, devastating, destroying, ruining nations. You know, according to Isaiah the 14th chapter. Matter of fact, let me go there real quick. Because you have a particular destroyer on the earth. You know, you got the hammer of the whole earth that's weakening the nations. So let me see if I can find this in Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14:6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruleth the nations in anger, and none hindereth. And then when we go down to verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did weaken nations? And then also I think the book of Isaiah, it speak of the golden city, the oppressor that ceased, you know, the hammer of the whole earth. Meaning what? America goes all over the earth executing judgment. You know, being the hammer of the whole earth, also weakening the nations. Well, Isaiah 33:1 said, when America is done spoiling, that they're going to be spoiled. So you got all these other nations that's going to spoil you, America, from the inside out. From a land, from a foot invasion to an aerial invasion, being a sword, then comes a nuclear destruction. So we're going to deal with this word treacherously in the Blue Letter Bible. It says to act treacherously, deceitfully, to offend. So dealing treacherously, deceitfully, that's more so psychologically, not so nothing physical. And that's another thing that America does. They deal treacherously with the nations. They deceive the nations. America step in, acting like they want to help. Well, really, America just want to step in and kill everybody and take everything for themselves. And it's a saying that I heard. It might have been an Edomite who made the saying. They say that being America's enemy is a dangerous thing. But being America's ally is even deadlier. Why? Because America's going to deal treacherously with you. Meaning what? To deal deceitfully. And that's what North Korea is on to America. They may or may not have a spy satellite over America watching the White House. But they what? They dealing treacherously with America. In other words, dealing deceitfully. They could be lying, or they could be telling the truth. And this plane don't sound healthy, but even besides that, I think you got Job 3:2. Just let me go there real quick. Job 3:10. Be your plowshares and the swords, and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So yeah, and even in the animal kingdom, certain animals, they got a bluff. Certain animals, they can expand and make themselves bigger than they really are. Other words, dealing psychologically with predators, to scare off the predator. And that's what a lot of the countries are doing. They're not showing any fear to America, although they still may have a little bit of fear. But other words, they said, I'm strong now. They puffing up at America, dealing treacherously with this place. America, they fly their fighter jets. When they go to these international meetings, they be at the meetings strapped up with automatic weapons and explosives. Well, that's just to psychologically scare the enemy. Well, now all the enemies of America are dealing treacherously with this place. That's why North Korea shooting off a missile every other week. That's dealing treacherously with America, the weak saying that they are strong. Countries who was once considered weak, puffing up at America. Hey, that's the spirit I'm supposed to board that anyway. All right, so now we're gonna go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38. And that's what's going on right now. For the most part, you got the countries dealing treacherously with America, meaning psychologically. Well, that's gonna turn to these countries spoiling America, meaning physically devastating and destroying this place. So we're gonna go to that in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38. Ezekiel chapter 38, they're gonna start at verse 10. Thus says the Lord Yahweh, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind. Thou shalt think an evil thought. The backstory of this is all these countries who would be joined to Gog and Magog, which is Russia. And that all these countries will have an evil thought. And let's see, thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, being America. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely. All of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. Yeah, that's dealing with America, the place where everybody is doing it safely, while you got every other country in the world at war. And, just the fact that the Chinese probably did send a spy balloon over here. The fact that North Korea supposedly got a spy satellite watching over the White House. That's really showing you their inner thoughts. They thinking about invading this place, which America has been invaded long ago. You always had millions of Chinese here and all these other foreigners. Well, you got tens of thousands daily that's coming through the southern border. So yeah, if they're able to get a spy balloon, a spy satellite over here, best believe they already got people that's just walking across the border coming into America. All right, and when they coming over here, that evil thought, what are they coming to do? To take a spoil, to destroy, to physically ruin, to devastate this place, and to take a prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate excuse me, to turn the hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited. Yeah, America is a desolate place, but it's inhabited for now. The place is sown right now, but suddenly it's going to appear unsown. And upon the people that are gathered out the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods and dwelt in the midst of the land. So all the people that's gathered out of these different countries come here to get merchandise, to get goods. Well, these other countries, they already dealing treacherously with this place psychologically. Well, now they're gonna spoil this place soon after. That's why the lesson is titled "Sword in the Destruction Draweth Nigh," because after this place is invaded, by the sword, that's the sword drawing nigh, the destruction is gonna soon follow. I think that might be it for that article. Let's go on to the next article. So yeah, we left off, that people are dealing treacherously with this place. North Korea shooting off missiles every week. Chinese sent the spy balloon over here. North Korea sent the spy satellite. And all these other countries, they're making threats at America. That's that psychological warfare these other countries beginning to deal treacherously with America. America always make threats to everybody, and they're scared these other countries straight. Other countries ain't scared no more. They showing that they not weak, that they're now strong, that they actually making threats and they standing on them threats. And that's gonna be made perfectly clear once the sword is let loose through the streets of America. When these illegal immigrants get active and spoil this place. And then, those same countries that's sending these immigrants over here to spoil this place, them same countries and many more gonna send nuclear missiles over here. And I got this other article we're gonna get real quick, and I'm gonna just get one precept to go with that. Check this article out. Iranian national with terror ties caught crossing U.S. northern border illegally. So the problem ain't just at the southern border, along Mexico. It's problems at the northern border too. Iranians ain't just coming through the southern border, they're coming from the north as well. And showing you that this place is being invaded. Now, let's read some of the articles showing that they actually coming through from the north. How you doing?
What's up, guys?
Man, no, I'm just going into some Bible prophecy.
Do your thing, man.
You bad. Yeah, so yeah, pretty
Let's
much.
go. Got you, man.
Oh,
Same
you-
thing.
I'm saying, what is it?
I said same thing. Like, I know what you're doing. Do your thing, man.
Oh, bet for sure. America got to fall.
I know.
The Lord coming to destroy this place with nuclear missiles.
Yep. I already know. Hey, have a good day.
I appreciate you too. An Iranian national with links to terrorism attempted to cross illegally into the U.S. via the northern border. Officials announced this week, coming amid ongoing concerns about the potential for those with terror ties to enter via the border. Immigration and Customs Enforcement said in a release this week that it has removed the Iranian, who is also a permanent resident of Canada, a national security priority, and wanted for assault back to Canada. So yeah, hey, these people coming from the south, north, east, and west, coming through the southern border and the northern border. Also too, they already told you, if you paid attention, they call Russia and Chinese warships near Alaska. So they're gonna invade this place from the north and the south and the east and the west, and it's gonna be an aerial invasion, according to Ezekiel the 38th chapter. So yeah, these countries, they standing on their threats. The weak is declaring that they are strong. Not only with their threats, they're actually bold enough to send their foot soldiers over here. Not to mention they already engaged in America in battle. All those battles and wars gonna touch the soils of America. So now America, now they want to step back on dealing treacherously, or they want to sweep it under the rug. Now these other countries dealing treacherously with America. So what? To eventually to spoil America with the sword, and then ultimately to destroy this place with the nuclear destruction. So yeah, then we're gonna get this next precept real quick. We're gonna go to the book of Ezekiel. We're gonna go to chapter 21. We're gonna get verse 5. That all flesh may know that I, the Lord Yahweh, have drawn forth my sword out of its sheath. It shall not return anymore. And we know the sword of the Most High is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, whose blessed is the sword. And Esau has taken his blessing and extended it to all people with the earth. When you read Revelation 6:4, he who sat on the red horse, who had the power to take peace from the earth, that the people should kill one another, and he was given a great sword. Well, the same sword, that same blessing Esau has, he's extended it to the other people. That's why the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. That's Esau sharing his blessing with all people. Well, the sword is drawn out of his sheath. Esau about to be let on the loose. Esau has shared his sword with these other nations of people. The Lord said he's taking the sword out of his sheath, and it will not return. So what? All the countries that's coming to America to let loose the sword, no matter how many of them they catch at the northern or southern border, no matter how many they catch and turn back to their country, hey, the sword is still out of its sheath. The sword is still gonna be let loose through the streets of America, to take a spoil and to prey. So that's why the lesson is titled, "The Sword in the Destruction Draweth Nigh." That's why the Lord said the whole earth is exceedingly polluted, that he will bring plagues upon the earth, sword, famine, death, and destruction. So we see the sword, being prepared in America right now. The sword is already in full effect in these other countries through these different proxy wars. Well, the sword gonna be let loose through the streets of America. Egyptian against Egyptian, rumors of wars, commotions, all these different riots and protests and uprisings of the people. That's gonna turn to all-out war right here in America. Ezekiel 21:15. I have set the point of the sword against all their gates. The gates would be the cities. So the Lord said he set the point of the sword against all the cities. So again, I have set the point of the sword against all their gates, that their heart may faint, that their ruins may be multiplied. It is made bright, it is wrapped up for the slaughter. So that goes into the sword and ultimately into the destroyer being the nuclear missiles. The sword gonna be let loose throughout all the gates, all the cities of America. Civil War 2.3.0, then it's gonna be a nuclear destruction that touches America, to cap it all off. So that's why the sword, a draweth nigh, and then the destruction is gonna follow. That's the order. The destruction can't come and then the sword, because the destruction is gonna wipe out everything. All right, so let me go to the next article. And this is the last one. Forgive me real quick. So we're gonna get this next article. So yeah, we already got that. The sword draw of Nigh, spy balloons, spy satellites over here. They catching immigrants at the northern border. You know, all these countries gonna take an evil thought. Let us go to the land of unwalled villages to take a spoil you and to prey. That's what's being prepped right now. Well, the nuclear destruction is being prepped as well. So let me go to this next article. I got two articles we're gonna get real quick. We're not gonna read it. We're just gonna read the titles and go into the scriptures. Russia unleashes 122 missiles and 36 drones, and what Ukraine calls the biggest aerial barrage of war scene. We know Ukraine and Russia has been at war going on 2 years now. And they said this attack that Russia did just the other day was the biggest attack seen yet. Key word. This was the biggest aerial attack seen yet. Key word being biggest. Now remember that. Let's go to this next article. Northern Israel comes under most intense attack since war broke out in October. So yeah, meanwhile, you got war going on between Israel and the Middle East. And they say the attack that just happened at Northern Israel is the most intense attack seen since they started fighting Hamas. Key word, most intense, or in other words, the biggest attack seen yet. Meanwhile, you done forgot Russia and Ukraine at war. And just the other day, Ukraine experienced the biggest aerial attack seen yet by the hand of Russia. What both of them articles got in common? The biggest attack or the most intense attack seen as of yet. And those are the days we in. You know, these attacks, the plagues, the death that's coming to the earth, the sword, it's gonna be record breaking. It's gonna be something never seen before. You know, each week it's gonna increase. You know, soon after, Ukraine gonna be attacked again. And that's gonna be the biggest attack seen as of yet. Why? Because the sword is increasing up to that nuclear destruction. You know, the sword, these attacks not gonna die down. Prophecy don't work like that. It's like birth pains. You know, they increase in intensity and frequency. Same with these attacks. They're gonna increase in frequency as well as intensity. That's why Northern Israel just had the most intense attack they seen as of yet, while Ukraine had the biggest aerial assault they seen as of yet. You know, matter of fact, let's go in the scriptures on it now. Let me not try to over-explain it. We're gonna get Zephaniah 3 and 8. Zephaniah 3 and 8. Yeah, because of this war between Hamas, Israel, the Middle East, etc., you forgot Ukraine and Russia still at war. That ain't died down. That ain't de-escalated. They just experienced the biggest attack. So Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So with the fire of his wrath. So a couple points to take from that. The Lord is going to gather the nations, and in that gathering of the nations, there's going to be fire involved. So what would the nations be gathered for? Let me go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 4. What would the nations be gathered for that is going to be fire involved? Let's get it. Isaiah 13 and 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered. The Lord of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. So the nations is being gathered to battle. That's what the fire is going to come from. He says his determination is to gather the nations and to devour the earth in the fire of his jealousy. The nations is being gathered together for battle, and there's going to be fire involved. That goes into war. You know, that's why you got terms like firepower. That's that fire. And more so that nuclear destruction. All right, so now what the nations are being gathered together for, we're gonna go to the book of Micah, chapter 5. And this is gonna Joe, Amos, Obadiah, Micah. We're gonna get Micah chapter 5, verse 15. And I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. So the Lord said, He's gonna gather the nations to pour his fury by fire on these nations that's being gathered to battle. What the Lord said, he will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Well, his fire, his vengeance, his fury is going to be declared by fire. So the Lord gonna let loose a fire unlike the likes of anything we've ever heard or experienced before. But the focus there again, I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Meaning what? It's going to be record breaking. And what was the first article? Ukraine experiences the biggest aerial attack seen since the war began. What's that? That was an attack as such they have not heard. 122 missiles and 36 drones. In other words, it was record breaking. What was the second article? Northern Israel experiences the most intense attack seen since October, since the war began. In other words, it was such as they have not heard, something never seen before until now. It was record breaking. So when the Lord says he will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard, it's going to be record breaking, something never seen before, such as the case with Ukraine by the hand of Russia and Northern Israel by the Middle East. The most intense attack and the biggest attack, something not seen as of yet. Well, that's going to be the case with the nuclear destruction, because what's going to be the most intense attack, the biggest attack seen in all of World War III, when America is destroyed by nuclear missiles. That's going to make the headlines. The most intense attack seen in human history, the biggest attack since World War III began. It's going to take place on America, and that's going to be the Lord's vengeance and fury, such as they have not heard. In other words, it's going to be record breaking. And that's going to be the headlines too. Most powerful nuclear attack seen since Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That broke news. That attack, nothing has broken that record since that attack on Japan happened. Well, when these nuclear missiles is dropped on America, that's going to far exceed the destruction that happened in Japan. So you seeing these titles titled most intense attack, biggest attack, well, that's the Lord executing vengeance and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. That's the trend. These attacks going to become bigger and bigger and more intense. Beginning with the sword, rocket launchers, AR-15s, automatic weapons, land grenades. That's going to morph into nuclear destruction. What's going to be the next biggest attack? Somebody going to use a tactical nuke, meaning it's going to be a small nuclear device. That's going to cause the biggest attack, most destruction we've seen as of yet since World War III started, which we in World War III. Well, after that tactical nuclear device, bigger and bigger nuclear missiles are going to be used. So you've seen these titles, biggest attack, most intense attack. That's the trend. The attacks are going to trend higher and higher to the point that the nuclear destruction destroys America. And when we come to Luke 12 and 49, when we come to Luke chapter 12, verse 49, and briefly reviewing, the Lord says he's going to gather the nations to devour them with the fire of his jealousy. And we know that the nations being gathered is going to be fire involved. The nations are being gathered for battle. So that fire is going to come from firepower. we know the fire portion of this equation now. So Luke 12:49. I am come to send fire on the earth. Words of Yahweh Shai himself. He's come to send fire on the earth. And he says, and what will I if it be already kindled? So at the Lord's return, it's already going to be fire set throughout the earth. That fire being the firepower. AR-15s, hand grenades, RPGs, rocket launchers, ultimately those nuclear missiles. So yeah, the Lord said, I am come to set fire upon the earth, and what will I have to be already kindled? That's why he says he's going to execute vengeance and anger upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. So these attacks are going to increase in intensity like birth pangs into the return of Yahweh Shai. And what's going to spark Yahweh Shai to show himself? The biggest attack that's going to be seen as of yet. That's the nuclear destruction of America. And we're gonna get this last precept, and then we're going to close out. We're going to go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1. We're going to show what's going to be the biggest attack seen as of yet. We'll make all these previous attacks like child's play. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. You know, linking up with Zephaniah 3:8. The Lord gathered the nations to pour his fire on them. You know, the nations being gathered for battle. So the Lord gonna gather these nations for battle, just to have them destroy each other with that nuclear fire. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. And we know that's the landmass of America. Gonna be completely destroyed. Whole country gonna be ground zero. And then many other places is gonna be destroyed as well. You know, it's all winding down to a year, to a month, to a day, and an hour to slay the third part of man. The day that burned as an oven, to burn up the wicked and those who do wickedly. So yeah, the sword and destruction draweth nigh. The evil is sown, but the destruction is not yet come. The destruction is going to be preceded by the sword. You know, to take a spoil you and to prey. Hey, shalom to the brother Don Yala. Shalom Malak. Shalom to daughter of Yahweh. And to the sister Athena Powdrew. Shalom Makwaf. I believe that would be sisters in Hebrew, the water, for y'all tuning in. Hey, shalom to my big bro Yawatazah Awar out there in Philly. Shalom to my big bro Kalab, Hope, Grace, and Mercy. Hey, shalom. Ain't the water for tuning in with me. Hey, so that's it for today's lesson. We're gonna face the east and close out. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakapadash. We'll be out tomorrow, Lord willing. Till next time, shalom. Oh yeah, matter of fact, that's the point. We know you damn Americans about to celebrate New Year's Eve, so let's get these last few articles before we close out. Because the point of today's lesson was to show this is the place where the evil is sown. This is the place where the destruction is going to happen. The destruction, thank you, appreciate it. This is the place where the evil is sown. This is this place where the destruction is going to happen. Where the destruction is going to be preceded by the sword. Now check out this headline. Europe on high alert for New Year's Eve terror as France deploys 90,000 police officers. So you got the phrase New Year's Eve terror. So they're getting ready for something. So hey, just be careful tonight. You know, speaking to the sincere believers. Because we know that the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. Thought there was another one. I can't get it, but we went into it yesterday that pretty much Las Vegas have received nuclear threats, and they letting loose, you know, tens of thousands of police officers as well. So that's just the trend with the House of Esau from America to Europe. You know, they expected some kind of threat, some kind of attack, some kind of terror to happen tonight. So yeah, we shouldn't be out and about partaking in the ways of the heathen anyway. So yeah, Lord willing, hey, something horrible happened tonight. You know how we talked about the attacks are going to be bigger and bigger, such as they have not heard. Hopefully, something horrible happened tonight in America, though. All right, till next time, Shalom.